Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. What a joy to see you all and to be here. This is my money is my favorite topic. Money beliefs are my favorite all time topic. And you're going to find out why. You're going to find out today why it is. And I'm just so that you know, I'm Kamin Samuel, and I am a rapid transformation business coach and hypnotherapist. And so most of the work I do is around beliefs, and we're going to talk about beliefs today. And where do those beliefs come from, and how do we shift them, and how do we step into more wealth, and how do we create it from the inside out? And again, welcome. So many people are still coming in, and wherever you are, we've got people from all over the country, and I'm still looking at where other people are coming in from. We do have some people all over the world because there's some coming in from Bogota, Colombia, and I do know I had some emails from people in the UK. They're like, I can't stay up until midnight, so they'll get the replay. But I do want everybody to just take a moment and take a breath. We're going to be talking about money, and as I was saying earlier, everybody's got a little bit of money stuff, and if they don't, they have something else, and we don't want that. So we'll take money because we can really control. We do have more control than we think we do around money. And I'm going to share about that. And I'm going to share why I'm so passionate about that, and why it almost really, really cost me my life. And that's why I have this passion. And so first, I just want you to, if you're not driving, close your eyes. Just close your eyes and bring yourself present into this, and just take a deep breath in and out. And take another deep breath in. And we're going to be creating today, and as you let that out, we're just letting out any old beliefs around money. We're bringing ourselves present into what we'd love to create at whatever our next levels are. And we are bringing ourselves present into this time together, that you're safe, you're here, and we're all working together to move to our next level. And so you can just take one more deep breath in, and then just let out any worries, concerns. And we're going to have a wonderful little less than an hour together. I will go a little bit over for Q&A. So you can open your eyes and bring yourself back. And people starting to feel a little calmer, it's okay. We're just going to talk about money. And I just really want to thank you all for taking the time to be here. It is my favorite topic. It's not everybody's favorite topic, but I do get it from a place where I had to learn how to rebuild myself and reinvent myself with regard to money. And I'll start with a little backstory on why I love money and love talking about money and money beliefs, is because I am the first African-American female helicopter pilot in the Navy. I was. That was my claim to fame. Thank you. It was quite some time ago, but it's a great distinction to have. And Anthony, if you'll throw up the hero slide, you can see the aircraft I flew. I was a CH-46 Sea Knight helicopter pilot, and loved flying. It was great to do. I like to say it was great to do in my 20s. Got a little bit scarier the older I got. You can go ahead and take that down, Anthony. Thank you, Tina. And yes, it's the big one. I always do this. And I was in for 9 years, but I always had a heart for business, and I wanted to work for myself. And so I got out, and I put in my papers, and 2 days before I got out of the military, I went to get my last check, and I had been saving up my vacation. I had planned, I thought I was going to get, like $8,000, and I had already started a business, and I was highly leveraged. I had 2 homes and all of this business, and I go into the dispersing, and they give me a check for like $1,200. And I thought, and I already used most of my savings. And I said, well, where's the rest of the money? And they said, well, you owe us. And what happened was I had taken money to stay in until 13 years, and this was at 9. And I knew I had to pay it back, and I had a plan, and I was all set up. And they said, nope, we took it first. And we would have taken all of it if we could have. And I don't know where this phrase came from in that moment. I'll tell you where it did come from. But in that moment, because I don't remember thinking it before, it was, I'm going to have to file bankruptcy. And I just remember the panic inside. So I get out of the military, fast forward, I'm going to give you the fast version of this. 14 months later, I ended up filing bankruptcy. And another, say 5 months later, within a 3-day period, I got the bankruptcy notice, the foreclosure of both homes, and an IRS audit. And I literally, yes, I thought I didn't think I could breathe. I felt all the air rush out of me. And during that period, I remember standing in the kitchen, and I was looking across the kitchen at some knives. And as I looked at those knives and contemplated, do I choose to survive this? Because it would be an easy out. But I also knew I didn't want my parents to find out. Nobody knew the mess I had created. I was this helicopter pilot, and I left the Navy to conquer the world. And I was a mess. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And when I looked at those knives, I realized in a split second that I had rehearsed my bankruptcy for up to that point, 18 months, over and over again. If I don't do this, I'm going to have to file bankruptcy. If I do this, I'm going to have to file bankruptcy, until it happened. So that if I rehearsed not living, not choosing to live, to be here, to commit suicide, then it would take on a life of its own, and the momentum would take me. And so in that moment, I realized I have a choice. I have a choice to figure my way out. And I did. I made that choice, never to entertain that particular thought again. Doesn't mean it didn't come in. It just, I didn't entertain it. And that became this long road back into who am I now? Who am I going to be? And over the course of several years and working at small jobs, because I had the self-esteem of a gnat, I did not think I was worthy of anything, I didn't want to be seen. I was extremely embarrassed still. And then I got an entry-level job as a web developer, and used the tools and techniques I'm going to share with you today, literally every day until even this morning. I was still using these tools, and I worked my way up to the executive level, then left and became a coach. And part of the reason I became a coach is because I like to say I've been coaching since I was 7. My dad was my first client, like bossing him around, telling him he needed to do certain things. So what I learned about this was my beliefs got me into that financial trouble. And I had to figure out, well, if I could create it through my beliefs, how could I uncreate it? How could I think something new? What could I do? And so when I'm talking today on creating the wealth that you want, this really is an inside out. It's who are you being at the next level, and what is it that you want to do? And how do you bring that into life? And it does start with our beliefs. Do you even believe that it's possible for you to have what it is that you're saying? Now, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and I have been amazed at so many times when I ask people they'll tell me a goal, and they'll say, yes, I believe it. I see gold bullion in a closet, and I see all these things. And I'm not talking about airy fairy when we're talking about beliefs. I'm really talking about what is it that you believe about yourself, about your possibilities, and about your money. And we're going to have some fun. And I really appreciate those of you who sent me in your forms, because there are a lot of different beliefs, and we're going to play a little game in just a moment. And you can put in the chat, if you did your homework, the one question I have for you that I'd love you to put in the chat is, what messages are you aware of receiving as a child about money or work? So if you can just pop that in there, that would be great. And Anthony, we're gonna do something fun. So Anthony, if you'll bring a Mentimeter, we're gonna take a quiz. Yes, people with money are corrupt. Yes, I also heard people are shady. People with money are shady. Yeah, they're not like us. And we're happy, right? And Anthony, if you can put the link in the Q&A there. And so you're gonna get a link to go to a quiz, and there are 8 questions there. So they start with, Anthony just put that in there. So just click that and you're going to get a chance to answer 3 of these. Which of these did you hear growing up? There's never enough money. Money runs out. You have to work hard to make money. It's greedy to ask for money. Money doesn't grow on trees. When you have money, someone might take it. Money is the root of all evil. Money isn't spiritual, or people who have money aren't spiritual. And you can have either love or money, love and happiness, or money, but not both. Yeah. So click that link. We're gonna watch how this goes. Oh, awesome. Yeah, money doesn't grow on trees, and you have to work hard. And there's never enough money. Yeah. This is great. Yeah, that you have to work hard is really a big one. Awesome. We'll give it just a couple more seconds. We can already see the clear winner on that one. And number 2 in second, money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, there's never enough, Maria, that's right. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. That's awesome. So you can see there's never enough money, or money runs out is in 3rd place. Number 2 is money doesn't grow on trees. And then you have to work hard to make money and to earn money. You can go ahead and take that, Anthony. Thank you, everyone. So when we look at those 3 beliefs, and where did they come from? Well, we were told them. As a child, you don't know that there's not enough money. You just ask for what you want. I asked my mom for a pony. Friends of mine had horses. I wanted a horse. My mother is really smart. She told me to actually find out how much work it was to take care of a horse. And that caused that. But there were a lot of other messages that I got as a child. And one of them was never file bankruptcy. Now, this is, whenever I'm talking about childhood and what you heard, there's no blame. There's no blame whatsoever. My extraordinary parents, I do not blame them one bit. They said it for whatever their reason. They wanted to protect me. But as a computer specialist and computer programmer and web developer, underneath there was this subroutine: file bankruptcy, file bankruptcy, file bankruptcy. And for each of us, with whatever beliefs that we had, there's never enough. There's never enough. There's never enough. There's never enough. I'm not worthy of even being invested in. Are some of those. Vicki put, like, it changes people. So if I have an underlying belief that money changes people, do I want to change? Do I want to have money? Because it's going to change me into something bad, right? If people with money are shady And it's not that it's always conscious that you have these beliefs. You guys know these beliefs because you've done your homework and you're here. But we don't know that people are shady is right underneath. So every time we go to accelerate our career, oh, I'm going to be shady. Wait, my family's going to think I'm shady. And you're not even aware that you're having this thought many times. Or I was working with some amazing clients this week, and two of them had I hate money as theirs. Like, I hate money. And so if they hate money, they're never going to charge for their services. Like, they were giving away everything for free. For the women, one of my clients had what we call the princess syndrome. Somebody else's dad's always going to take care of me. Somebody else's everything gets yes, it is. Somebody else is going to take care of me. So I'm not responsible. And when people, some of my clients this week also said, like, when they made money, they were in a bad relationship, and money that the person they were with took all the money. This was in their 20s when they were learning how to deal with money, and that person was not working and it took all their money. And so anytime they went to make more money, they just spent it. It was easier to spend it than have it taken. So there's no savings. Does that make sense? So as you start to look at your own beliefs, we really want to start looking at, well, if I have a belief that says I can never catch up in corporate, I can never catch up in my job to where other people are. And I know I had this one. And I've had probably every one of these. So I limited it to 3, but just know that you can have a multitude of these. At some point, depending on how you use the skills I'm going to teach you, you can catch up. You can, but it is this embodiment of the next level and the next level, so that it's your people can sense who you are. They can sense what you're believing, and then they begin to pay you at the levels. And I'm going to talk a lot and a little bit about corporate, and then a lot of you are coaches, and so we'll talk about that. And I had one going into being I held myself back in my corporate career as a manager for a long time. I had been promoted every year until I got to senior manager. And then I stopped my career because I didn't like the behavior of the directors at that level, and thought that I had to be that. And I had to be a backstabber, and I had to do that. So I stopped my career. And it wasn't until I understood that I could bring myself, my integrity, my character to the next level, that then I got promoted again. So whether you're a coach or you're in corporate, we're always looking at where are the beliefs and what are they? And then another question I generally will ask, I'll ask 2 questions with my clients. How old are you when you have that belief? And the second part of that is not only how old are you, but what was going on in your life at that time. The second question is, whose voice is it? Because what we want to do is get some altitude, some separation between you and the belief. And if you can see that that belief is something that was a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, even a 20-year-old, and you're now 50 or 70, it's understanding that those beliefs are, those belong to another time or to someone else. And a lot of the work I'm doing is helping people grow up into who they are today. What are they up to? Who are they? What can they do? What have they accomplished? Most of my clients are, very successful at what they've done, and they won't acknowledge their success because they'll always have, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And so I'm always trying to slow people down into how can you acknowledge and own who you are today so that you can move into a new level. How are you guys hearing that? Is that making sense? Seeing some nods. Anybody have any questions? I can take a question. Anybody have a question real quick? Otherwise, I'll continue. Let's see, is there any question? Great. So the important part of this is really being able to look at if not.
Kamin,
Yes.
Before you move on,
Sure.
Matt has a question.
Hey, Matt, can you come on?
Let me.
Or write it in the queue. Do you have him?
Hi, Kamin.
Hi, Matt.
I'm in the middle of eating dinner while we're doing this, so you're not going to see video.
Okay.
But my question for you is, as you very well put, sometimes we don't realize we're having the thoughts. And so they really do kind of go undetected. I'm curious, what's helped you with really slowing down and observing when those are really underlying in the surface? So they're not just, you're running through your day going, I'm not going to make anything, I'm not going to make anything, I'm not going to make anything, whatever it is.
Great question, Matt. Thank you. And it really is something that we have to train ourselves when we have those thoughts. It's really, you'll start to notice even just from this conversation and that you'll start to notice those thoughts more and more, because it's like a wormhole in our brain. It's like, I'm not going to make anything. If I don't make that call, I'm not going to make anything. If I don't talk to somebody, right? And some of you know that sometimes I'll describe myself as an extreme hermit level introvert. So you can imagine being a coach, sometimes that can come up. Like, if I don't reach out to somebody, if I don't talk to somebody. And so what we want to do is now, the first thing is to bring your awareness. Like, if I'm not having a successful day, then I want to know why. And I want to bring myself present into the day. You're going to get a couple of resources at the end of here's. And one of the things that, so I have, you're going to get a copy, you're going to get a PDF of access to my Increase Your Abundance Starting Today, my Wealth Transformation Journal, and then my last one, which is the Success Transformation Journal. This one is really around the mind. And if you're really beating yourself up on things, and it helps you then begin to start to notice your thoughts and notice your accomplishments. So if you take stock at the end of the day and it's only negative, you know that that's a choice point. And that's when I would, if you're in bed, I'd get out of bed, because you want to be as clean as possible going to sleep, and write down and let me say this now. I have something. So there's two parts to the bonuses. There's one bonus, you're going to get a whole access to a whole community of a whole repository of things. There's another PDF and video that I have that if you want that, and that's going to give you this form on outdated beliefs, whose voice, and the new belief. Email me, and Anthony, if you'll put my email address in there, and yes, it's, email me. So just give me until Tuesday to respond to everybody. But it's really taking stock of your day. And if you're beating yourself up, if you're not feeling like you're reaching your goals, and you're feeling bad, it's really the feeling also, because on this call is everything from those people who, were directly impacted from COVID and are maybe looking for work still, to people who are extremely wealthy and successful, and they still have these lack points in them, where they're not comfortable with their wealth. They're not comfortable spending money. They're hoarding it out of fear. And so they reached out, when they sent their forms in and said, I still, even though I have enough, and I know in my mind I have enough, I just feel bad inside. So let your feelings first kind of trigger that, and then write down, take a moment and write down, okay, what am I believing? I cannot make this business work. Nobody is hiring. It's the economy. So anytime anybody tells me it's the economy, I have a little bit of an evil smile, because it still is inside of us. When COVID hit, all of my amazing clients who are on this call know this. I paused them, and we had a conversation, and there were 4 questions I asked. One was, how is COVID here? How is this pandemic, this shutdown here to bless you? If this was an answer to an unconscious, unspoken prayer, what would it have been? What is it that, and Anthony, I guess you can go ahead and put that, it's slide 6. What learnings or systems do you need to take forward in your lives when shelter is in place is over? And is there anything left still undone? And I really held COVID as, this is the most creative time in history. This really is, because everything has to be reinvented. Ourselves, who we are has to be reinvented. What we do, filters, theater, air travel, coaching. My husband is a consultant, and he before COVID was on the road 85 to 90% of the time. So his business was significantly impacted, and he had to reinvent himself and his business completely. And so you can use these questions and just take out COVID-19. How is whatever situation here to bless me? How is my not achieving something here to bless me? Oh, I'm awake to, there's more that I want to do. And Anthony, you can take that away. Thank you. So there's a, I call it, I say that I have a blessing orientation to life. It does come from the fact that I contemplated not being here. So anything after that is really gravy. Anything after really contemplating how far I'd fallen. So Matt, just take time to see where you are. Where are the thoughts? Where are those thoughts coming from? Whose thoughts are they? Did you hear what is, did somebody tell you? When I first left the military into my career, I was told, you'll never be successful in sales. You don't have a sales mentality. And they were right. But it also became, again, another wormhole in me of saying, I can't be successful. Nobody in my family has been successful. Or again, going back to some of the questions that in the Mentimeter was, money isn't for the spiritual, right? Don't be greedy. Don't ask for too much. So that's one of the ways, is just to document, look at what you're believing, and what can you choose as a new belief, and where can you put it. There are 2 words, and I can't remember if I said this earlier. There are 2 words I really want you to take away today: rehearsal and momentum. I rehearsed the bankruptcy until it had its own momentum. And so each of us, if we're rehearsing, if I don't do this, I'm going to have to do this. If I don't, we're in a lower kind of vibration, and we really want to anchor in what's next for me and shift. Okay, well, what is it? A great question to always ask is, what is it that I want to create? And what am I rehearsing? So if you can start to pivot that way, that can help you grow from there. Now, I want to give you another a tool. So you have the beliefs tool. It's what are my old beliefs? Whose voice or how old am I? And then the last column is, what are my new beliefs? So if money doesn't grow on trees, well, money is everywhere. I see there are houses and cars, and so money is abundantly everywhere. When I used to work for very rich people, and I was making very little money. And I stopped at a park one day and looked at how the universe supplies us with abundance. and use that to fuel me and see at the leaves, the sand, the grass, and how can I come into alignment if it's there? So if it's, you have to work hard for money. Well, do you really have to work hard? Can you be are you in alignment with your choice? People may look at my calendar and think, oh my gosh, you work so hard. And I'm like, really? I don't really feel like I'm working hard because I love what I'm doing. When I was in corporate, watched the clock quite a few times to when it was going to be done. So if a belief is in there about you have to work hard for money, it's like, what can you shift that to? Well, is it always hard? Where are the places where I lose track of time? And how can I bring those and piggyback those into what I want to experience more of? I used to call it stealing time, and take my lunch times in corporate to take classes, or first thing in the morning to work on writing a book. Anything that would allow me to keep creating, so that and how can I be of service was the question I used to ask. So use your particular ones and shift them to something that's just a little bit better, a little bit freer. Real quick on the money is the root of all evil. That's actually an inaccurate translation from the Bible. It says the love of money is the root of all evil, and what they're really referring to in that sense is really the sheer greed of it. And what we want to do is see that money is just energy. It's just energy. One of my amazing clients said this week, I just wish it were buttons and bows. I don't want to deal with money. I just want it to be buttons and bows. I said, you'd have the same problem, because it's simply something that was made up. Money is made up. The coins are made up. The bills are made up. So it's just an exchange. My services are switching. And yes, you can do that, Matt, with replace money with hammers, right? Or you can just say, you can change all of these. You have to work hard to make energy. You could use energy in every one of these. You could say it's greedy to ask for energy. Energy doesn't grow on trees. So it begins to disassociate us from the money question. Does that help? So I want to talk about now about how to get from where you are today to your next level. And my clients know I'm always talking about next level and next level, because it's important when people come to me, and they come to me at all money. So they can come to me at 30,000 and they're like, I want to be a 6-figure coach. And I'm like, okay. So that's a big jump. There's a lot that goes in there. Or they come to me and they're at 250,000 or higher, $1 million, and they're trying to get to a huge number. Anthony, if you'll put up slide 4. The starting point, because sometimes it's just a matter of zeros wherever you are. You just want to, I have a master's in spiritual psychology, and a lot of that work was really around, what's 50% believable? Go ahead and click twice. So you have the first goal, where you are is at the bottom, and then you're trying to get to where you want to be. Now, the problem is that's a big leap. So go ahead and click again. What happens when the goal is too far out? And then one more time. This is what actually happens. When our goals are too far apart, our limiting beliefs come in. What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't create anything else? Who do I think I am? Right? How many of you have heard, like, who do you think you are, asking for more money? And that could be internally or externally. What if I'm not enough? What if they don't think I'm good enough? What if I can't recover if my business doesn't make enough money? No one will pay me that. And what if this is all there is? And that's really a fundamental question of what if all this work is all there is in life? And what we want to do is take a step back and realize that we can still get to whatever that goal is, whether you're going from 30,000 to 100,000 or 300,000 to a million or and higher on up. But what we want to do, and go to the next slide, what we want to do is not make those leaps too far, but begin to see, and keep clicking until you get to the top there, that we can start to stair step our way to wealth. I use this diagram, this process in everything in my life. You can go ahead and take that down, Anthony. Thank you. Everything in my life, whether it was getting an entry-level job and what would the next thing, because I wanted to jump like $50,000. And one of the favorite things that people will say to me, I want to get paid what I'm worth. Who said that? How many of you have said, I want to be paid what I'm worth? It's a trap, right? So most people will say that, and I say, you don't want to get paid what you're worth. You want to get paid what your skills are worth. What are your skills are worth? And do you know what your skills are worth? Most women, some men, but most women don't know what their skills are worth. So when they apply for a job, or even as a coach, they really don't understand their own bio. And they don't understand what's possible for them. So knowing what your skills are worth, knowing what is possible for you, and growing. So I had a wonderful question, or somebody had said, I'm a coach, so there's corporate and coach, and those people are trying to do one or the other or both. And people won't pay me for what I do. And I had to say, well, it's interesting for me, because when my very first coach, I've been coaching with Steve Chandler for 7 years, but my coach before Steve, I had hired an individual, and she said, you will never make money as a wealth consciousness coach. And I was like, but that's all I know. Writing a book on it. That's all I know. And so she wanted me to just be a straight kind of her version of business coach. And I try it for a little while, and I come back and I'm like, I've got to do the wealth consciousness stuff. It's about the beliefs. And she said, you'll never make money. And what I had to learn was I had to do it my way. And I just began where I was and kept getting better and kept shifting. And we can't know who we're going to be 6 months from now. We didn't know. None of us saw this pandemic coming. So whether you're in corporate and you're trying to get an SVP level job, or you're a coach trying to get new clients and sharing yourself, the process is still the same. It's really looking at, who would I be at that next level? How am I showing up? How am I communicating? And I'm going to share with you the repository, and Anthony, you can put this in here, and it'll be sent also out, but you can put the Wealth Flight School. In the Wealth Flight School are all 3 PDFs and some audios and things of that sort. But each book has one exercise called the Wealth Exercise, and it's from my absolute favorite book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This is, I have other versions, but this was the very first one. It's yellowed and highlighted, and the Powers of Your Subconscious Mind is an old book by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And it was just a tiny little passage, and just the tiniest passage in it. And it talked about using the word wealth and success, just wealth, success. Now I can only hold one word. That's it. So for me, wealth was success. So with that, as you're looking at your next level, it's really, what would it feel like? And when you're using the wealth exercise, and I call it actually a simulator, being a former Navy pilot, I was known for being not nice in the simulator. We'll just put it that way. Because the lives of the crewmen of the pilots depended on how well these pilots did. And so I was super tough. But what we were doing was simulating situations. And so in our work here with the wealth exercise and stair stepping, we're really simulating your next step. And what would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? What are the actions? How would I be if I were a six-figure coach and that's what you're going for and it's within that range? Well, what would I be thinking? How would I be taking care of people? If I'm going for the SVP level in a corporation or CEO or C-suite, what would I be thinking? Now, I literally use this every step of the way of my growth. Because of whether I was making 50,000, trying to get to 60,000 or 70,000 or 100,000 or 200,000, whatever the number was, and on up from there. It's really, what would it feel like? And I literally started when it was just I just wanted $50 extra at the end of the month. That, when I started, that was as far as I could believe for. And when I got to the 50, then it was 100, and then it was 500, and then it was 1,000, then 5,000 and 10,000 on up. And I had to, it's like when we go too far out, we know that we're not there. And so we just bring it back down. There's no harm, no foul. Just bring it back down to what's at least 50% believable. So if you're an SVP trying to get to C-suite, is there another realm? Or is there a way, or how do you want to be in your meetings? Are you answering from the C-suite level? If you're a coach and you're at 250 trying to get to 500, and well, what would you be thinking? Who would you be serving? So it's not just law of attraction. We are taking action on those things. When I was getting promoted in corporate, it was because, I was asking myself that question. It was like, well, what would you be doing at that level? Well, I'd probably do that PowerPoint. I don't want to do that PowerPoint. I'll probably do that PowerPoint. Let me do the PowerPoint. I do the PowerPoint. Wow, this is great. Thank you. So they started to see me different. I started to show up different. As a coach, it's the same thing. Like, oh, I'm serving parents. I'm serving teenagers. Well, who would I be? What's customer astonishment for those parents? What's customer astonishment for, women in business, or the talent that you're working with, so that we start to perform at that level, and then we take ourselves through. We own our next level. We own it, and we are it. And that then people start to find us and believe us when we say the numbers. The other thing about stair stepping is it's a simulator. It's practice. We practice everything. We practice being at that next level, and who would I be, and how would I be taking care of people, and what I would be doing. Does that make sense? So thank you, Tina. And so the opportunity for you here is you'll get the wealth transformation, you'll get all of the books, you'll get the PDF of all of them. They all have the wealth exercise. And so as we're starting to wind this down, I just really want you to put in, like, what are one or two takeaways that you guys are starting to see? What's one action? And I'll give you a hint for one action, which is, click the link and sign up, because it's free, by the way. So I forgot to say that the Wealth Flight School, it goes to, it's called Ground School for Wealth, because a lot of my terminology comes from being a pilot, and it's free. It's it's normally $28. It's free for you all. And so there it is, free. And so when you go there, just enter your information. It will not ask you for a credit card. So you'll just have access to, you can download, you can listen right there. Let me know if you have any troubles with that. And so we're going to, as we kind of come, it's hard to believe it's gone so fast. So when you're looking at the wealth exercise, you're really getting into the qualities. What are the qualities of what it is that you want. And I did it for my promotions. I also did it for my marriage and creating the most wonderful wedding. I did it for everything that I could possibly do it for in my health. I've had people who have used the word health. You're not saying I am wealthy. That goes against our ego and will cause a backlash like you have no idea. So you're just using the word wealth, and what would it feel like? And then listening for, what are the actions? What would I be doing? What would I be doing? So thank you for, as you're putting all of those things in there. And so we have something fun. And so we're going to put up another Mentimeter, and we're going to create a word cloud around wealth. And what are other words for you? If wealth isn't your word, maybe it's abundance, maybe it's prosperity, maybe it's just freedom. So you can enter a few words in there. Thank you, Vicki, on rehearsal. That's awesome. So Anthony has put in the link so that you can go to the Mentimeter. And you'll also get in the book, in the Wealth Transformation Journal, there's a whole list of wealth qualities. But you can go and, I think I need my glasses for this. But it's affluence and authenticity. Some people have another version of the word bliss in there. So Anthony, can you show the screen of words? So just type in, freedom, joy, prosperity, fun, generosity, energy. Yes. I love that freedom is the biggest. That means a lot of you are saying freedom. Some other words are flourishing, grace, grandeur, luxurious, opulence. That's one of my favorite ones. Rich, splendor, successful, and yes, wealth and wisdom. Beautiful. Love how, isn't that fun to see how it's shifting on the screen as people are adding words? That is, great. And I'll send you this because I do want you to keep this. I'll send you an image of this that you can put on your phone, put on your screen, that you can look at it and see it and connect with it. When Matt asked the question about, what do we, how do you shift? It's literally, a lot of the work I do as a hypnotherapist is rewiring your brain, rewiring constantly. And I was just working with a group at the Army, and they were extraordinary beings. And we were talking about not just wealth, it's how do you rewire everything in your life to what it is that you want to create. And so you can do that. You can give yourself these messages by looking at this over and over and over again. All right, Anthony, you can go ahead and take that down. Thank you. Was this helpful? The hour has gone by super fast. So you have my email. And Anthony, if you would put that back in there, email me, Kamin@KaminSamuel.com. If you'd like, I think I took it away. Oh, here it is. There's another PDF with a whole bunch of other limiting beliefs. I told you this actually, I borrowed this from my Army team, and it's something I created for them that I thought would be helpful here. Other beliefs and how to walk through them, but you'll also get the Wealth Flight School. So just email me for that, and I'll send you. There's also a video I have that goes a little bit more in depth on stair stepping. If you email me, I'll give you guys that. So just email me at Kamin@KaminSamuel.com. And I'd love, are there any questions? We've got about 9 minutes to go. I will stay over a little bit longer. But if you have any questions, Shannon has a question. Can you unmute him?
Hello, Kamin. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I took a lot of notes as well. And I've already signed up for the Wealth Flight School. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, great.
My question is involving market price. I'm wondering, like, so often I've set my own rates low, even possibly lower than allows me the ability to, grow enough to serve my clients effectively, because I tell myself there's no particular market. I'm setting it at the market value for my idea of what people are going to pay for this type of service. It's kind of a targeted clientele and a targeted service. And I seem to be a little stuck in this area. On one hand, I know that there probably is a market, like a market level. There's kind of a market for the type of services I provide. But at the same time, I'm wondering where my own ideas and my own limitations, my limiting ideas come into play with setting my rates and setting my prices with this perception. I just wonder if you might be able to share or unpack that a bit.
Absolutely. How many of you can relate to this issue around setting prices and market value and all of that? Yeah, and especially, those coaches and consultants, you're kind of all by yourself, right? And there isn't it's not like lawyers and doctors that, there's a set rate, or this is what, Medicare or your insurance will accept, that kind of a thing. So one of the things to notice, Shannon, is really, if there is no market information, and you're really new in that, you're the one who's setting the pace. One of the things that you want to look at is, are you full, right? Is your calendar full? If your calendar's full, you can start to you can start to shift your rates because you're in higher demand. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to realize, sometimes I'll say with clients, they're not actually paying attention to how much work they're doing. So you're probably adding in extra gifts, adding in extra time. And my clients know when they give away stuff for free, we're going to have a conversation. we're going to have a conversation, because what you want to do is now take stock and add, even if all you do is realize, okay, if you look at all the hours that you've committed to work versus all the hours you're actually working, and then apply the hourly even across to the hours that you're not billing for, your rate's going to increase. Now, as you get full, and this applies to most coaches and consultants, you can, as you get full, move your rates up. You're going to have to do the stair step. You're going to have to do the wealth exercise and practice it and embody that new number, and practice it out loud. So the first time you don't say it is with somebody. Because I've had some clients who scream it because they hadn't heard it out loud of the sound. So it's really looking at, okay, what's that next level what's that next level? And you get to expand into this piece of, if I'm charging $5,000, but I'm really giving $10,000 worth of service, well, you may not feel comfortable moving to 10,000. You might need to move to 7,000 and then 8,000. But new clients might come in at a higher. As soon as you embody that number, you're the only one who has to believe it. Now, the market may say that they're not, and some people are working in small towns, or they're working with teens or whatever. But this stair step approach and really communicating the values, because sometimes we're not also communicating how much value they're getting, and that this is something for them to really own, like, you're over delivering. And the ability for you to set new rates with new clients, such that you can jump, like, it's sometimes harder to move an existing client. You're going to do it. I have my clients do that a little bit differently, but new clients, it's really practicing. Can you increase your rates 20%? Can you believe for 30%? 50% may be too much to believe for, but sometimes I'll have my clients not take too many long-term clients, so that, because who they're becoming and how they're showing up in the world is different each month that they go on. And if they have a lot of people locked into long-term clients, so when they're on a growth momentum, I'm really working with them on that. Shannon, did that answer your question?
It did, and I'm certainly taking a little note, because I'm in a great position where I do have more work than I can do, and I'm using that leverage to grow my company. And I think I can integrate this, especially the 50% believable element, to start to have conversations, and maybe not. Because I may be signing a long-term client over the next few days, and sometimes I just want to give away the store. So thank you so much.
Relate to giving away the store. Okay. You're not the only one who has given away the store. And so that's the opportunity for us to value our skills. And again, you're not getting paid. You're not asking to get paid what you're worth. What are your skills worth? If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a coach, if you're a talent agent, if you're whatever, it's really practicing your new skills, practice embodying them. Find out, for those of you who are women, find out what, sometimes that my clients hear me say, well, what is a man getting paid for that? So that they start to wake up into a natural inherent diminishing of their rates. And what we want to do now is, it's okay to push the envelope. We just have to be detached. That's another thing that I want to share with you, is we have to be detached. The number doesn't mean anything about us. When they say no to our number, they're saying no based on them. It's not us, generally. So it's really this opportunity for us to see, how much am I giving? How much am I serving? And what is the right fee for me right now? A lot of times I will work with my clients on what's the right number, what's the right program for this person. That helps them calibrate into not just thinking I'm putting everybody into these boxes, but how is it relatable to the person that you're in front of, so that they feel that you've got their back. And so it's the embodiment, it's the wealth exercise, it's feeling into this so that you can get to your next level. Does that make sense? Great. Well, I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank every one of you for being here. Thank you for taking your time out. I hope this was helpful. Please, again, email me, Kamin@KaminSamuel.com. I'll send you this little worksheet on creating wealth. I'll also send you a stepping stones to wealth video, and you have the wealth transformation, the wealth flight school. And then I will also be sending out the replay tomorrow. And but again, I'll stay on for a little bit longer just to answer any questions. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Anthony, for your help. I really appreciate every one of you taking the time out of your day to be here with me. So thank you. You, Anthony. And so if anybody has more questions, please feel free to stay on. I'll work with you on your individual beliefs if you would like. I'm happy to answer any questions. And yeah.
We actually did have a question. I'm going to take everyone's thing off. We had a question from Matt.
Let me take Inez.
Okay.
All right. Inez. Hi.
So I became aware during this call that the belief that I was most unaware of was the one about I will be taken care of.
Yeah. And so now, as you can see, that if you have a belief that says I can be taken care of, right? Then, or I want to be taken care of.
I will always be taken care of.
I will always be, and you can have that, right? I'm going to lower your hand so I can move you into center position. So if you have that belief, I will always be taken care of, and you're not growing in your business, right? Then who's going to take care of you? And so what we want to do is recognize, so when were you, if you think back, how old are you with that belief?
I remember when I was a teenager and I got a job offer.
Uh-huh.
And I was the best student at the English school, and they offered me to teach. And then my dad discouraged me, and he said, your job is to study.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, after I graduated from the best business school in Brazil at age 21, so that means I've had a profession for 24 years. And out of those, for 21 years, I was either supported by my parents or by my husband.
Yeah. And so when you go to support yourself, then there's like a dissonance between me supporting me, right? And somebody else is I'm not supposed to ask for money. I'm not supposed to get a job. And so it begins to, it's like being able to notice that and be like, oh, wait, I'm however old I am today. It's actually okay for me to create money. It's okay for me to create what I want to create in my life. And we want to, like, sometimes I'll have my clients have that child come into their lap, that age, so you can have your teenage self sit next to you and say, yeah, back then it was important for you to study. But now we have a gift, we have a calling, we have something that we want to do in the world. So I'm going to be the parent to you now. And I really want you to see that I can create from here. And can we partner? And I want your playfulness of who you are at that age. And I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to go out in the world. I'm ready to raise my hand and do the work that I'm here to do. Because I'm sure there may have been younger ages when it was just, a lot of clients will say, well, nobody, everything was just taken care of. I don't have any beliefs about money because everything just showed up. I wanted a pony. I got a pony. I got it. I wanted this. It showed up. I came from very wealthy. Like I don't even have the skills to like take care of myself. But that's just simply an awareness, and then bringing yourself present to who you are today, and then reiterating, wait, I've learned so many things in my life. I can learn how to create a business. Yes. I graduated from all of these things, and you can really begin to show yourself all the success that you've had, that then you can apply to your business and allow that to empower you from a new level. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that helpful?
Yes, very, very helpful. And things that come to my consciousness as I hear you speak are that things are not, they don't exclude each other. It's like I love learning and I love studying. So, okay, making money does not mean that I will stop learning and studying.
Right. So you probably have, I do with a lot of my clients, this character test and it tells us their strengths. And so love of learning is like high on my list.
Yes, Clifton strengths. I'm being a learner is one of the top of them. So I'm just, hearing and observing in my consciousness the thoughts about things that, okay, if the money is present, then these other good things cannot be present as well. Like I've had in my professional career, I've had 2 occasions in which I made a lot of money, more money than I can think of possible. And in the first one, I was very unhappy. The second one, I had a mental breakdown. Mm-hmm. And so so I'm just coming to realize that I had this association that there's something that is bad is going to happen if I start supporting myself.
Yes. And so notice those 2 and with the other ones. And there's never, like, when we're dealing with limiting beliefs, I'd love to say that they go away. Every time we go up, New ones will show, but I always say that that's because we're safe enough to handle those beliefs. We're safe enough now to handle that. And so it's an opportunity to now look at, if something bad happened, of course you're not going to charge anybody money. Like that, no, I didn't like it. And then something bad happened to me. So we want to say that now you're taking control of your own life. Like, I get to choose how much I work. Some of my clients are still on, and they know one of the things I love to say is it's an and. I can learn as long as I'm not over learning and hiding, because that's a thing, to kind of hide in learning. And I can make money. I can make my own money. And that's also why the stair step works. And that's scientific. This is all from sports psychology, positive psychology. Everything that they've learned is, if you take these incremental steps, you'll be able to allow yourself to feel into what it feels like to have clients and take more money. And then you can add another number and increase your rates, but you're feeling your way up and being able to hold in that energy. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody else have a question?
Matt had a question.
Matt, are you still here?
Yeah.
Great. Come on.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm visible this time.
Okay.
So I was really curious how you've seen the interplay between multiple challenging money beliefs play out, both, not just in mind, but in actions.
So can you give me an example?
Yeah, so let's say your belief is money's the root of all evil, and also that you just never have enough. How do you see like multiple beliefs like that operate together in tandem or at wit's ends with each other?
Okay, so money doesn't. What was the first one?
I think the first one I said was money's the root of all evil, and the other one was I never have enough.
So how has that played out for you?
I don't think I've had the one about the one isn't enough.
Okay.
I think I was asking more as a theoretical, because if we're having multiple stacked beliefs, I'm curious, since that's what you work with all the time, how you've seen different beliefs like that interplay and show up for your clients.
Yeah. So, Matt, even with what I just was doing with Inez, she had a belief that somebody else is going to take care of her, and a belief that having a lot of money could be detrimental to her health. Mm-hmm. Right. And so we have, like I said, I had all 8 at any given moment of those beliefs on the Mentimeter. And so it's an opportunity for us to really see that we just want to know first that these beliefs can run simultaneously. They can be layers of at any one time. What we want to do is recognize those beliefs aren't who we are. They came from somebody else. They came from somewhere else. We don't need to blame or anything. It's just simply, how do I pivot towards what it is what I want to believe going forward? Okay. So that's a real opportunity for you to look at, okay, if money is the root of all evil, most people will have the money is the root of all evil and money isn't spiritual because it came from the church or came from somewhere. So if those two are running, we know that there's going to be a problem, because if they're trying to be themselves and be spiritual in the world and make money, it's not going to happen. They're going to shut themselves down. They might make some incremental. Many people have great success and then self-sabotage. One of my other favorite books, I was using it today, is The Big Leap by Hendricks. And this book talks about the 4 hidden barriers where we self-sabotage. And what we want to do is start to notice our own patterns where we sabotage ourselves. And here's how it looks. In a relationship, His Gay and Katie Hendricks book on conscious loving was instrumental in me, how I created my marriage. Because if you've ever been on a trip with someone you love, it's great, it's fabulous, you come home and a fight ensues, over something small. You left something out, whatever. That is, we've exceeded how much love we think we deserve. And we will sabotage that with a fight. Now, we also do that in our own business. We, make a lot of, I have clients who made more money than they ever thought possible and then shut it down. And I have several of those. And I have to watch the sabotage because it hits up against something that one of the 4 beliefs that we're looking at are, I'm fundamentally flawed, is the first one. The whole 4 hidden barriers. The second one is I cannot expand to my full success because it would cause me to end up alone, be disloyal to my roots, or leave behind people from my past. And the third one is believing that more success is a bigger burden, Inez. I can't expand to my highest potential because I'd be an even bigger burden than I am now. This would flip for you. It would be more painful if I made more money, right? And then the last one is the crime of outshining. I must not expand to my full success because if I did, I would outshine so-and-so and make him or her look bad. So those barriers and these limiting beliefs can all be there. They can all exist together in various formats. And what we want to do is just come to our own awareness and say, okay, it feels like I'm not able to charge what I want to charge. Nobody is hiring me. What's the belief? Well, what's the belief underneath that? I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. And a lot of the work I do is around I'm not enough and helping people, and they have to put it on their mirrors and lipstick and pencil and all sorts of things. Whiteboard marker works great on mirrors, and say, I am enough. Because fundamentally, that's the question that we're trying to answer is, am I enough? Am I enough to be hired? Am I enough for you to work with me? Am I enough to charge what I want to charge? And when we start to really get clear that I am enough, then that's what that stair stepping, that's what the wealth simulator is doing. All of that is designed to get it in our bones that who we are is enough. Now, is there a market for what we have? Yes or no? We just have, we get to test it. You get to play with your numbers. We're creating as we go. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, the one thing that was really interesting you said was you have people say, I am enough. And earlier you mentioned that you don't want to say I'm wealthy because of an ego backlash.
Right.
Sounds like it's different there.
It is different with the I am enough because, and you can say just the word enough, but when we go with wealth is a trickier one. Wealth and success and some of the other ones are a little bit trickier with the ego. I am enough is not necessarily going to cause the ego to rear up and tell you, no, you're not. It will to some people. They've had that. But with most people with money, if they say I am wealthy, there's an immediate like somebody else is wealthier. I'm not making enough, and that causes a spiral. So the only time and I'm so glad you asked about that. And the only time I use I am enough, I am is usually around I am enough. Every other time I'll just, what is the feeling of the other word so that you can move into that expression. Is that helpful?
Thank you for the very well articulated answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else? Oh, Elise, please come on. I think you can understand. Hi.
Hi, Kamin. Thanks for having this and taking my question. I wasn't even planning on popping on, but I'm a new coach, new to this, and I'm running a 6-week online retreat for women. My niche is it's stress management for Christian women specifically.
Great.
So it's 6 group sessions and 6 one-on-one sessions. There's a workbook that they're going to get to work through. And my money issue around it is charging. I think $1,000 would be a great value for what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I think maybe $275 would be a friendly rate to get people to kind of experience what this is. And then part of me is like, well, maybe nobody will come if I charge, so maybe it should just be free. And I'm not particularly attached to any of those numbers that I'm aware of. I just want people to come.
Yeah, I hear you. And are you working with a coach right now?
Yes.
Who's your coach?
Her name's Andrea. I don't think she's on the call.
All right. So work with Andrea on this piece on really valuing your time, right? Because it's an interesting balance between my clients know the only F word I don't like is free. So I'm a sailor, so apologize. And come from a spiritual background. So free, the problem with free is people don't value it.
Yeah.
They don't value it the same way. They don't show up the same way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So we can take that off the table.
Okay.
And you think about how much time are you going to put into creating it?
A lot. It's a lot.
You can look at this as at least as a part in time of, this is a pilot. This may be the first time you run it. It may be the only time you run it, right? So you can allow yourself to really think about, well, what would feel good to me? Well, if it's $275 and I'm very clear that this is a pilot, and you don't necessarily even have to tell them that, but you're clear this is a pilot. I'm just testing this out. Because it could be 1,000. You might work with your coach and she might say, Elise, you're gonna put so much into it. Maybe it's even higher. The higher you go, the longer the enrollment time. Okay. So or you're so clear about the women who are going to be in this group that it's pretty much a yes, no matter what the price is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you can, spend a little time with your coach identifying who are you have your ideal clients, but what else are they dealing with that you're going to really support them on? And how can you, because when they see themselves, I just did a group and offered it to 3 people. They took it like that. And, and because it was like, I heard them. And it's this opportunity for people to know that you hear and see them, and that you understand that stress, and you're going to be on this journey with them. And then you look at your time and what is your time worth in as a coach, and then what is your time worth in the group, and you and your coach really look at what can you believe for. Is there a stretch number that you can believe for, that you can share? Like, it's like, oh, if I'm thinking 275 is kind of easy, it's 375, or you get to partner with that and play with that and get something, because the only thing that really matters is, do you believe it and will you share it? Because a lot of people create things in a vacuum and they'll never share it because something is out of alignment. So being able to be in alignment, share from yourself, from your own authentic voice, and tell them how you're going to be with them on this journey. And then if it's a 6-week program, okay, let's get to the end of that 6 weeks. And I'll tell you that many times, Elise, people are putting far more work in than they'll ever use. When I recently created this program for the Army, I worked and I was getting paid really well for this program, but I was working every Sunday like a mad dog, trying to get the PDFs to them and creating content. And then the class was on Tuesday, and I hardly ever referenced the class, the PDF. I was like, do it on your own. Because I just wanted to create the space that they knew I was there for them, that they could bring whatever it was, because these are all transitioning out of the military. So it's helping them really rethink themselves and reinvent themselves. So create that spaciousness for yourself too, that you're not over like trying to prove yourself and prove it's worth this much money. That time with you, I have a sense of energy. So the time with you is going to be really lovely, and it'll give them, even that will help them start to slow down in their own lives and not let that stress eat them, and how to come in alignment with their faith and what it is that they do in the world and how it is to help them excel. So work with your coach from that perspective. Is that helpful?
Yes, very much. Thank you. And I feel like being a new coach, this is mostly people who I've known for a long time, and they've known me for years and years. And I guess what you said about this isn't about proving yourself, that really spoke to me, because I feel like unless it's people who don't know me at all, like these people already have a preconceived idea about me and what a conversation with me might mean for them. So that's where the money, I think it's a little weird for me too.
Yeah, if you're charging, it is a little bit with friends, right? Of people who know you. But that's where, again, the practicing your numbers and practicing saying it, because you're valuing your time.
Yeah.
And they have an experience of you, so they already know it's valuable. It's do we believe that time is valuable? And can we stay out of the, is it like, should I be asking for this much money? Or what will they think of me if I ask for that much money? But it's their transformation that they're going to be paying for, not you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
and
great.
So that's the opportunity. And you can, in that wealth exercise, really see them saying yes, see people saying yes, welcome them in, have their, like, it's like, see people saying, thank you. This was like, I'd pay you 10 times this amount if I could get the transformation that you are giving me and who I'm becoming. And then next time your coach that you get to raise it then. But this will give you at least a start, so that you value that for yourself, and you also won't be a little bit resentful, like, I'm this time I'm not getting anything. But I don't think you would do that. But it's that welcome. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else have a last minute question? Raise your hand. You can also just unmute yourself. Yes, Tina. No, you're just saying bye. Anybody have a question? If not, going once, going twice. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking time. I applaud you. I acknowledge you, and keep me posted. For those of you who are working with coaches, please take this back to your coaches. Please take everything that we've worked on today back to your coaches and work with them, and have them ask you these questions as well. So thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, or wherever you are in the world. I just wish you all wealth and success. So thank you. And you can unmute yourself and say goodbye.
Thank you.
Great
Bye.
job.
Thank you.
Bye, Kamin. Thank you so much.
It was great.
Bye.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for your great questions, Matt. Thank you, Pop, for being here. It's great to see you. And John, Justin, thank you for being here.